They use something called CMOs, cash money orders, which means that they don't operate on a cash basis because they're saying because the money is no good nowhere. It had no value. And they also have something called a Uniform Commercial Code, which is some things based on certain amount of things that you use with the government. Now, this is key that you listen to what they're dealing with here, because the Illuminati, this so-called New World Order. First of all, the New World Order came about in 1776 or even before that. So this was an old world order. And for the mere fact that the doggone Library of Congress even tell you something about themselves, because they use the New World Order as propaganda material to get you in deeper. So what has happened was, when they said the Uniform Commercial Code, the cash money order, and rescinding the license plates, I laughed. Because I knew that that's what happened with black media, and that's what happened with us down in Atlanta. So all of a sudden, we got some damn white supremacists that's under the same system that the black people, all the black groups around the country was into also. The same patriot movement. I said, well, here we have it here. So that means that the Illuminati both set up, they both came and they gave this particular package to both white supremacist groups and black radical organizations. You see, that you wouldn't be caught dead with some of these crackers, but then again, on the other hand, you sharing the same system. Now, what that means is this. That means if anybody coming to tell you about rescinding your license plates and using cash money order thing, and to say that you can get a zero balance up from out the system, and you had the unknown brothers and a lot of people talking this stuff, they don't understand that that stuff was set up by the Illuminati. And it is made to get you to take all your business and to get you into the systems where they can control you. And so this is how it goes. They'll come and say, well, listen, the government is illegal, and they'll give you the truth, which is true. The money is no good, which is truth. It's not backed by anything. They can't, this is your property, so therefore you don't have to drive with a license tag. They'll give you all of this particular information. They'll give you the truth. And they'll say, well, we can get you from up under the government. We can give you a zero balance from up under the government. You don't have to pay no taxes and all this kind of thing, for the simple fact that they've never ratified the tax thing with the in Congress in the 40s when they put the shit in. So it is illegal. But still yet, the key is, when they give you a zero balance, and they will do this, then the Illuminati steps up. And this is where they have you. You know how you get in trouble with your bills, with your credit, and you go to a consolidator, and they consolidate your loans. You know, somebody take you and they do your work, but you have to pay them after that. You end up owing them. Well, that's all this thing is to get you trapped. They'll come and give you all this stuff, say, get from up under the government. You don't have to use no license tags. You use CMOs, we can get your property, and all this. But what happens is when you do this, then you have to pay them. Then they come and say, where's my money? What you mean? I got from up under the government. No, you don't understand. You got to pay us. And they took all them black people homes in Atlanta under this stuff. I'm telling you what I'm talking about. So anybody come to you telling you anything about they can get you from under your income tax and all this stuff, anybody telling you that, that's the government doing it. And now the same freedmen that's held up out there is up under the same thing and up under the same scrutiny a year later. And it happened in Atlanta, and people lost their homes behind this bullshit because people greedy. You see what I'm saying? People greedy. You see what I'm saying? And that's what the key is. People, people are, and I kept telling them, don't mess with that thing. Don't mess with it. Oh, you wrong. They fell out with me. You wrong. We trying to get paid and you wrong. You just mad because you want somebody to follow you and what you into, but there's different things. I'm like, anytime the white man offer you something, God damn it, you got to know. This cracker gonna offer you something, telling you he gonna make you free, and you gonna take it? And sure enough, and we come to find out that the people that we was working for was Illuminati. Then all of a sudden, boom, business taking over. They got to change the name. And I see these white people coming up in the place with big old big dick shoes on, big old gray ass suits. You know what I'm saying? Big old 500-pound crackers. They look just like Rush Limbaugh type crackers. Bust up in the place and stuff. I said, what the hell you dealing with the bees for? Oh, they trying to buy some space. I don't give a damn what they try. What you dealing with the cracker for? You come to find out they own the shit. They took it over. Next thing you know, my tapes stopped selling. Now I stopped selling. They told them that they couldn't sell my tapes no more. Until the business got real bad and they had to start selling my stuff again. All kinds of the next thing I know, they're inviting crackers in. Here goes some white boy coming in talking about UFOs named Rudolph Winters. Coming to find out what this cracker is, he comes in and he talks about UFOs. He only talks about sightings and abductions. He don't really tell you the mystery of the UFOs. You don't need to know about no sightings and abductions. Any fool should know at this particular time that there's spacecraft. Anytime the cracker's spending billions of dollars in Hubble telescope, any fool right now is supposed to know that there's UFOs. So that's beyond the point. So why some cracker gonna come in to give you some evidence that they're UFOs, you already know. But the key is the niggas come run up there and they get to the, get to the little speaker, question and answer. Sir, and what it is this guy was a spy. And what he was waiting on is, he was waiting to come to find out what, based on the question that you asked, what you know about UFOs and all this kind of thing. Because a nigga, he get to the microphone, he gonna show off. Right. He gonna show that he knows some shit. Right. And now this stuff is being filmed. Right. Now the people who filming it now own it. These people now own the stuff. It's all government. And they got you on tape. And the next thing you know, you ended up dead. You see what I'm saying? That's all this thing was a spy operation. A spy operation to take control over the black institutions and bookstores. So anybody come, if you got any type of black business or anything doing, anybody come to you talking about doing some stuff to try to get from up under the government, tell them no. Now, I don't give a damn if I'm making $5 a month. I'm going to be a $5 a month making nigga. I'm not doing nothing with stuff because it's a trick. And I'm not telling you some theories. I'm telling you what we had to deal with. I pulled away. I ain't been back since September 94 because I saw the crackers. My girlfriend was working in the place. We saw the crackers. I was there every day. We saw these crackers. So this is real stuff. This is not a theory, some he says he. I'm talking about how they roll on our behinds. And we saw these crackers, and they took over the thing. And they're going to do it based on, they're coming, and they got walls full of these books on the Illuminati and tapes on the Illuminati. So they'll give you truth to get you. Don't trust the beast no more than you can spit at that mug. That's right. Nothing. That's why when it comes to white people, I don't deal with them on no level. Even when I'm in the thing with the books, I'm incognito. They act like I'm their best friend. Sister said, some white woman said, I think I heard you on the radio. I said, wasn't me? I know I was on the radio the other night. She said, damn, it sounds just like you. I said, it wasn't me. I said, I was in here the other night. She said, yeah, you were, because I was in there an hour before I went on there. But I don't let them know anything because I'm doing the double agent bit. See, they think I'm a good old boy, and the moment they know that I know some stuff, the moment they stop giving me the materials, then all of a sudden, I can't order books. See, I can get books from all over the world. With the hook crackers I'm hooked up in. That's why he said, damn, where does he get all this new stuff from? Because I'm in a network, I can get all the stuff. But see, they don't know who I am. I'm like a double agent. But see, people out in California, they hear my tapes. They call me all the time. They say, I went up in the place and I tried to get this book. The white boy said it was out of print. I say, the book is a brand new book. But just it's out of print. You see what I'm saying? But it's out of print. But see, them hillbillies down there, they don't know no difference. They be like, oh, yeah, shit, it's with money. You see what I'm saying? But, yeah, But see, they're more racist in the north and out west than they are the south. Now, why is that? Because the south has this stigma on it that it was racist. First of all, the whole country was racist, but they put the stigma on the south to divert you, and those people went through a behavioral modification, and now the north is awful. There's more racism up here. You see what I'm saying? Overt racism. So it shifts. So they're over there now, you don't get that. So, they cooperate because they feel I'm in the South and I'm already known as a racist. So we got this air, so that's the way they do it. But now that's even coming back. Every day that's even seeping back. The whole country is becoming this way. You see, so that's real key that you understand that particular thing, that particular part. British cattle disease found in Tennessee. You see what I'm saying? All the more reason to keep you from stop eating this damn meat. The mad cow disease found in Tennessee. Cracker died a month ago from the mad cow disease in Tennessee. So what it is it means that there's hundreds of black people dying too. But when they go in the hospital, they say natural causes or whatever. They had the flu or whatever. No, they died from this stuff. They're killing Negroes wholesale. That's another key you got to understand. You see. 45 black churches burned by the government. Now that's spiritual actually, because Hell, a black church. That's the worst thing we got on the damn planet. So it's spiritual, but we know the government is doing it. But like I said, that's spiritual. Because I'll repeat it again, I'll go into that again now. The 501c3 tax exempt law, which means that every black church is under the behest of the government. 501c3 tax exempt law, which means that every black church is actually run, owned, and operated by the United States government, which means in their bylaws and their clause that they can only be allowed to teach religion on an inspirational basis but no knowledge base. 501c3 tax law said that no particular black preacher can actually teach on any subject on a comprehensive level, which means he can't really go into the science of it. That means if you know a black preacher, they'll come up, they'll say the topic of the day, and they'll read 2 or 3 Bible verses, and then they'll go into some shit in the community or whatever, and then they'll start hollering and going down Glory Road. That's it. You see these white people, them white teachers, them preachers on TV be teaching. You understand what I'm saying? They teach. But also the 501c3 law said that no black preacher can teach on revelations. So even though there's metaphysical revelation, they can't even teach on even just the coming of the Christ as far as everything tearing down around, because that can even wake a nigga up. You can look around, you say, hell, it's over. So they're not allowed to teach revelations. You've never seen any of them teach a comprehensive thing on revelation. They're only inspirational type people. You understand what I'm saying? They can tell you about going to hell all day long. You see, 501c3 law. In the bylaws of that, based on the inspirational clause, if they go any political, they can come in and they can shut them down and they can put the church on auction blocks.
They'll lose their non-profit status?
No, they'll go to jail. They'll shut their shit down. Because you see them laws, you see that all the bigger churches can't open their doors now unless they have the American flag with the gold strip down the side. AMEs, CMEs, United Methodists, and all those, and big-time Baptist churches. Then you have your little penny ante pocket churches, but they all can be monitored because they all go by the flavor of what the big churches go by. You see what I'm saying? But in action, no, they can be put in jail. They can be jailed for a political prisoner like Geronimo Pratt and the rest of them boys. You understand where I'm coming from? And that's because, like I said, based on the law, based on the bylaws of the church and all, there's certain clauses. That's why you never, also your black Masons, they have to sign a petition every year that they can't bear arms against the government. Because if you notice, the black Masons is also an installation of the church. You see, one is the same. You see what I'm saying? And they're just a bunch of buffoons and all have nothing to do with real masonry whatsoever. That's a clown penguin suit nigga. That has nothing to do with that. And I've done been up the East Coast, West Coast. I done been all over, and I'm yet to have a Mason to come and challenge me. Did he know any goddamn thing on masonry? I'm yet to have him. Because I'm yet to have him. Because all I'm going to do is just take him into my shit right here. You see what I'm saying? Because this is masonry. You've been learning it. And one thing about the key thing about masonry and mystery system is you can't do it without the woman. That's the key. Even Moses failed to go through the 50th gate of understanding because he stopped sleeping with his wife. He stopped hitting it, and the spirits quit it. So he stopped hitting it, and they quit it on his ass because you got to go back up that fallopian tube. Fallopian tube. That's the birth canal. You got to die. And we're talking about sexual energies is the high energies. That's the high levels. And so he didn't hit it, so they quit it on his ass. He didn't get it. That's why your religions are to talk against sex is in actuality cultural control centers, because the sexual energy is the most divine energy, and the sexual energy was on the planet, not procreation was secondary. Oh, okay, on the Methodists we still have a little baby or whatever, but the sexual thing in metaphysics is the most divine thing and all the kind of thing. And you know it is, because hell, don't let nobody fool you, know. You know what I'm saying? Free Willy. Free Willy. Y'all ain't caught on what Free Willy means. And I'm down for Free Willy. Free Willy. Now, but that's the thing. So going back to this particular thing, what we're dealing with here, All of that's under 501c3 laws, and that's why, therefore, you can I don't care what city, go downtown and try to get out a loan to open up a candy shop. You can't get it, but you can get out a loan to open up a black church. And in Atlanta, they will give you up to $5 million to build a church on the spot. But the churches take up $7 million. The churches in Atlanta take up $7 million a Sunday, because we have 93 churches in one area alone in the black community. 93, we counted them. Now that's not including all of Atlanta. That's on Northside Drive. Now, man, you and me, beyond Northside Drive is the whole King Center. And there's another 100 churches on the side of Martin Luther King side. But on the other side of Northside Drive is 93 churches. You see what I'm saying? They take up $7 million a day, a Sunday. You see what I'm saying? Because they passed the damn pot 3 times in these new churches. And they take up $7 million and all this kind of thing, and they put them in white banks. But yet nobody can get no loans. You see what I'm saying? Because it's a government installation. That's why if you see Bill Clinton and them, they always surround themselves with black preachers. A black preacher's damn near the scum of the earth when you really look at the thing what's going on. He might be a damn idiot and he might not know, but that still, inadvertently, he's the beast too. Because he don't know. Hollering at people and keeping people all into this stuff. You see what I'm saying? I got a friend, man, my friend, he got a girlfriend, he 30, his girlfriend, you know, she a young sister. He done lost his girl to Jesus. He done let a damn 2,000-year-old mythical motherfucker who don't exist take his woman. Don't even exist. It comes from an ancient myth of a prophetic person in the future. But the Jesus that they're talking about is a creation of the Roman government, a 2,000-year-old lie that don't exist and took his woman. She married to Jesus and stuff. And she was a young, so she in her early 20s. She done locked that shit up on lock and key. She put the chastity belt on. Jesus got it. Jesus the biggest pimp in the world. But what's going on? So you know, these black churches are the problem. That's why. But the spirit, there's 45. There's 45. Hell, they burnt down one the other day in Atlanta. So let's say 46 of them been burnt down since 1990. That's the ones who bought the thing that a damn hot water heater blew up. So they didn't get on the list. Cracker came in and said your hot water heater blew up, and they bought the shit. But they burning down these people. But that's spiritual to me. That's spiritual to me. Yeah, you know, that's spiritual to me and all. So, you know, they've been having black students around the country. Mostly black students that's politically aware and it's in the consciousness been being killed. Since 1990, they've been killing them. They killed one up in Jacksonville, Florida last year. This brother was down with the nation. He was really pumping. And on Valentine's Day, they took the brother, you know, and they eat the heart and all that stuff on the ritual. So they killed this brother and all, you see, like that and all, you see. You know, they killed this particular brother. So, you know, like I said, Bill Clinton's putting out this standardized test now for high school students, which you know the culturally biased type thing. So now they got this new standardized test, so they phasing people out of school anyway. But then again, on the other hand, it's going to take people to take their students out of school and doggone teach them at home anyway. That's what the deal is. That's what the cracker's doing now. Because when I was in one of the metaphysical bookstores, this white woman said, well, I noticed the trend that my children was becoming bumbling idiots because they shut them down and teach them not to think. And they were just crazy. And this white woman said, I pulled mine out, and now they are in their 30s and 40s, and they're like 14 and 10 and 9, and they are very intellectual and very astute and everything, and she has no problem out of them, but the school was literally mutilating, and this was the white woman. And this is what they were doing to white kids, because you can imagine what black kids are doing. That's a real head shot. If they're doing this to crackers, you see what I'm saying? Is that stuff so popular it's going to roll off on the beast? What you think about black people? But they literally, so you know, that's one thing too, you see, so that's one thing too. A lot of the things with our people, man, they teach them not to think. They literally can shut you down. You know, they got stuff mental poisoning. Hell, Louis Spence wrote a book in mind control in the United States, and they learn how to control the minds of the children. So that's real key to take them out of there. You see, to take them out of those schools and all and start doing the home training and stuff, man, because they are mutilating our particular people. You see, you know, the CEOs are getting 200 to 300 times more than the workers. And that lets you know that you're talking about a totalitarian government, and they're talking about they hate communism. Well, damn. 300 times more than the actual workers the CEOs are getting? That's literally 2% owning all the damn wealth. Not no 10, 2%. You see what I'm saying? Loaning all the doggone, earning all the wealth. Now see, what we're going to have to start doing is we have to start doing the pipe squad for while we're here. Whereas some black people are going to have to be held accountable. Because even with the Academy Awards, even though Jesse Jackson had a legitimate cause, that there's a lot of our people working in the industry that's getting shitted over in the movie industry, and he told damn Whoopi Goldberg to wear this ribbon, and she got up on the Academy Award and buck danced in front of all the white people. I ain't going to wear this ribbon, going to mess up my damn dress. And the spirit showed her because Robin Williams came on and told her to take that damn curtain off. But what I'm trying to say is, if she was in an Arab or in Palestine or in Lebanon, you see what I'm saying? They would have beheaded her, but betraying whatever faction that they told her to get down with. And that's the problem. We need to start killing these Negroes, because these Negroes will do anything to get the love and the affection of that white man and acceptance. They'll do anything. And I don't put nothing past none of them. None of them out of Denzel, none of them. If they in Hollywood, they got a limit that they'll sell the hell out. Because like I said before, you can't name a Hollywood actor. If he's new, he's going to play a police officer. But if he's any type of major star in Hollywood that's black, he's got to play a police officer. Only one we could think of that didn't play a police officer was doggone Richard Pryor, but we was wrong on that because he played a police officer in an early movie, I think, with Frank Sinatra or somebody. He came in eating some potato chips, and he was a police officer before his career started out, before you knew him as Richard Pryor. All of them have to play some part of law enforcement because the law enforcement are the gods. So when there's a code word, and everything is code word, because the laws do not apply to white people. Whatever laws that apply to you don't apply to white people. White people tell you that we are a service of the community. They are right. They are service. They are of service and service of the white community. They police your community. So when they say community, right there you know that's some fake stuff. Because hell, that's 400 different communities in one naked city. So what community are you talking about? So they'll say we are of service of the community. You always hear them on TV talking about this, especially on cops. They serve the white community, but they police yours. And so you are on the police state. You see what I'm saying? You are on the police state. Okay, like I said, the homeless in Atlanta, they're getting ready to take the homeless in Atlanta, and they're getting ready to take them and they're getting ready to put them in concentration camps. What it is they took a set last year, but they just made a new bill in Atlanta that the homeless that is there, they got to get out of town before the Olympics, and that they have to, what they have to do is they have to sign a petition, they have to sign a contract saying they'll never return. That is the key because once they snatch them up and put them in the incinerators in Oregon and Indiana and different places, down in Florida, a place called the Everglades, when they snatch them up and the people ask, where are my kin? Then they'll say, well, they signed a petition that they couldn't come back. And this is a way that they can cover up doing the thing with the concentration camps. You see what I'm saying? Doing the thing with the concentration camp. You know about the new dollar bill. We're just going through some hard copies. You know about the new dollar bill. You know, the new $100 bill with the big old head, the big ass thing. God knows what the hell that might turn into. You see what I'm saying? God knows what that might turn into. Again, like I said, the New World Order deception is, although the New World Order is real, the only reason why the white boy is allowing you to have it is because he's getting ready to deceive you. Because first of all, you know that all media is run by the New World Order, right? All media. Okay, if all the Christian networks are talking about the New World Order, And they're all run by the same thing. So that means in actuality, there's some deception going on with the New World Order. And one of the keys to the New World Order is to keep you telling you that it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. So it's like the crab in the pot. He don't know that he already in the pot being cooked, and he already somebody right there with the main course with a fork and a knife in the hand going, he don't know this and stuff because he's swimming around there because the water ain't warm enough. Well, so you think it's coming, and that's the deception, and that's why at this particular point they can kill you wholesale by the millions. Right now, because you thinking it's coming in the future. And so if they can make you think that this thing is coming into the future, they can take out large amounts of you in the population. You understand? Right now, for the last 10 years, they can take out millions of you, and they have done this. And you will not even know it because of the simple fact you're looking for something to come in the future. So the King Alpha plan, although the King Alpha plan was right, they took it as it is going to be something far out in the future, and the government put out the King Alpha plan to the black community. So you would think it's something to come, and you wait on the concentration camps while they can go in and do the mutilation years before. And keep a few of you out here, you understand, you see, as trees that's wrapped around a forest, but if you fly over top, you'll see ain't nothing in the center because all the trees dead, they just keep some on the outskirts. And that's what's going on here. New World Order deception, very key. Like a 1,000-year celebration of black people. So it's a lot of key things and all, and I got that from the Christian network. You see what I'm saying? You see, I look at it all. You see what I'm saying? I look at it all, although they are part of the deception also too. You see. Now, this is real key. The population in Africa. When most people go to Africa, they go to Africa on a tourist bit. So you go to the largest cities. You know what I'm saying? And because Africa doesn't have highways that can connect, you can't get on a damn highway and end up in California. You see what I'm saying? You got some places you got to fly, because they keep it like a jigsaw puzzle. You never know what's going on in certain parts. Most of the entire continent of Africa is dead. It's just that they show you the cities and they show you a few people out there and you don't know. But hell, you just look at National Geographic. Every time they're showing the damn animals, you don't never see no niggas around. Never. You see what I'm saying? There ain't no remote bush. Because hell, half that stuff ain't no bush. Half that should be open fields of famine and open fields of green grass. And where the niggas? They dead. They have killed. Majority of the people on the continent of Africa is dead. It's just that the white boy is so technologized now until what happened is if he don't put it on the TV, you'll never know. And most tourists is set up for tourist attractions. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's going on right now. Now, how in the hell they going to have Rwanda and they kill up what? How many people died? About a couple of 100,000? 100,000 people died with some fucking 22s and some clubs and a little bit of machine guns. And you know damn well that's the British Army, the France, and Israel, and the United States in there killing people wholesale. You see what I'm saying? And not only that, 2 weeks ago they showed there's other countries that's got Rwanda going on right now. They're killing black people each day. Like one black white senator was over there and he said, hell, at least 400 people die a day. A day. Now we ain't talking about the Ebola and AIDS, which is wiping people out wholesale. We're talking about they're wiping people out a day. You see, they're killing our people. They're killing our people by the thousands. And they've been doing this thing since colonization. They've been killing our people by the thousands. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go drink me some water. You can cut the film. I'm going to cut this off this time so you I'm going to go take the water bill. You got that off, and I'm coming right back, and so we can go into some other divine stuff right now. Huh? What you want to do now? So it's regional wise. That's it? Is it on? It's regional wise. They're selling in Atlanta, so I need somebody up here to print because the people who selling them in Atlanta, they can only afford to print them for themselves, you know, and so we need to get some stuff up here. And we'll do it that way. But You welcome them. I just get the books out. You welcome to print them and sell them yourself. If hell, you spending the money to print them and stuff, you know. And all. Okay, let's see where we're going here. Okay, what's happening here is, you know, when the Bible talks about, at first the church, they say the church is going to be taken up. You ever heard that first? And then there are going to be some people left behind. But then those people will have a chance to get on board also. That particular part has already occurred. That occurred in 1990 up to now. Let me explain what's going on here. What it means is that you had a group of people, they said that came into the, they said that Christ will come and he'll take some of them up, which meant the Christ consciousness. So all the black people that had been into some form of consciousness or some element of consciousness from the last 5 or 6 years were the first wave of people that would be taken up. So we talk about damn near 0 point something when you talk about damn near 60,000 black people. And what has happened is that is the reason why you can't tell a lot of your black people this kind of knowledge. They reject it. Because what has happened is when something's saying taken up, you don't understand it. When they're saying taken up, you're thinking of the physical body being taken up, and you don't understand that these two eyes, this is all a hologram and an illusion. If you was to look inside of us, compared to some people on the street, it's the difference between having a sun shining and the sun still in the dormant stage. You understand? And that particular difference is that your Christ consciousness, which is the sun, has opened up. So what it is by it's opening up, you are in one dimension and your other brothers and sisters in the other dimension. Doesn't mean that you have all the knowledge. It means that you are receptive to the knowledge because you are inside of the doorway. It's just like being in the doorway in the library and being outside of the library. So what it is, they're in a whole nother dimension. What just happened was, like I said, I was telling Delilah today, Sister Delilah was, I got a friend in Chicago that he moved from Florida and he's working in Chicago. Anyway, he's been in his consciousness for a while. So they set him up in a hotel room, you know, the job where he was working. And a few brothers from the job came by to visit him, you know. And what happened was when they came by to visit him, he said that what happened was he was just, you know, wasn't hollering at him. He was just talking to knowledge. He was saying, you know, that's what he into, so he went into the knowledge with him. Wasn't hollering or anything. He just went into the knowledge. And he said, the brothers jumped up and said, oh, man, you stop it, man. My head hurting. I can't take it. And they ran out of the room. They ran out of the hotel room. And he wasn't hollering with them. It's just that certain knowledge is like hearing some damn acid rock. To certain people is outside of the dimension. So our people have been left behind. They're like in the 1980s. You see a nigga, you know, it don't make no difference if he got money. He could be a hee-haw bourgeois. You got people, it's almost like all this death and all this stuff going on, it's almost like living in fucking Mayberry. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying at all? It's like business as usual, just brain dead people. They're good people. People that you love, but just dead. Totally dead. I mean, no knowledge whatsoever. Have no clue. So the reason why we thinking everybody's everybody, because we still looking at these eyes, and we haven't been learned to look at this eye. And so the people is getting this because they're on the frequency. So you go and you try to teach those people, and they don't want nothing to do with it. They'll reject it. That's because your soul incarnated, your soul was old enough to incarnate to be the people that would be the light bringers that would go in and get this stuff early, so you would be the ones that give it to them when their souls are ready for it in a few days. It ain't going to take no 1,000 years and no shit like that. If it's going on with you, that means it's getting ready to go on with them because you done been in this thing a while. So some people say, like, I only came into the consciousness last year. It doesn't make a difference. You have been receptive to the consciousness for the last 5 or 6 years. Otherwise, you wouldn't have been able to get it. You'd be just like everybody else rejecting it. That's why you can see some people, they can go, some people have gone to all the conscious meetings. They have gone to everything, and they go to all the stuff, and still yet, they still Negroes. You know what I'm saying? They're still Negroes and shit, talking about some Democrat Party and stuff. That is because what we're dealing with here is we're dealing with people that's in two dimensions. And the reason why you don't know is because you're looking at the physical, and yet we have not transcended the physical yet, all of us. We are in two separate dimensions. And that's when the key talking about left behind, but those particular ones will get on board because the Christ consciousness will come to them. So you're already in your Christ consciousness to even be up in here, even pondering on something, on such a divine knowledge, on such a high level that in actuality would sound utterly strange 10 years ago.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But now this shit is damn like food for thought. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just like sweet honey in the rock. You see what I'm saying? That's because there's your kind of gasoline. It's food for the people in the doggone, in this dimension. So this is the type of thing that you're dealing with here. You know what I'm saying? That kind of consciousness. You're making me laugh. Anyway, that kind of consciousness. So that's the difference between being left behind, and you must study your people and must understand. That's why you can have a person. Now, when I'm saying about left behind, you got some people in the Christ consciousness and don't know it yet. There's some people you can talk to for years, and they are on it, and you can have a brother out on that street, and he hit his shit one time, or she hit one time, and she got it. Like when I went to Orlando, Florida, you know, all the brothers that was there that had me to come, they had a little crew. So the brothers was down, and there was two sisters that got it. One of the sisters told me, she said, "You came here for me." And there was another sister that you wouldn't think had a jerry curl, and the guy, she said, "Last year I was wholly sanctified." But she was down like it. So it don't make a difference on whether she was held down by the religion. It was based on her energy. She was an old soul, and she was ready for it. And the ones that so much held down in the fields of religion is because their soul have not progressed to the point that they can tell the damn difference. And the other sister, the conscious sister that got it, she said she told her mother, she said when she came out the womb, she was a little girl, she used to tell her mama, all of this is wrong. Everything you doing is wrong. She said all of this stuff that we are going about is wrong. She used to say this at a young age. She said, but you know, it took her up to now, that now it's like, you know, coming like a fish in the water. It's like coming into your own, you know what I'm saying, your own disco. So now, what the deal is that's the difference. This other sister was wholly sanctified. Now, obviously, the wholly sanctified person, if it was based on the religion that's got our people in trouble, she wouldn't have came out of it, too, as far as the mind thing. But it was time. You see what I'm saying? It was time. And plus, you programmed yourself thousands of years ago at the time that you was going to wake up. So it don't make a difference if you just heard the mountain knowledge yesterday. The day that you heard it is the day you woke up, because you had already entered the Christ consciousness. It's just you were searching. You programmed yourself in the time you was going to wake up. Because sometimes you might ask yourself, why the hell I didn't learn this knowledge 20 years ago, 30 years ago, when I had time to read a whole lot of books? That's because it wasn't time yet. First of all, the knowledge was not time. It wasn't time to be hearing this kind of stuff on the planet then. But then again, on the other hand, the time that you woke up is the time that you program yourself in other incarnations to wake up. You did that. So if a person programmed himself for a certain timer, that's just like if I got my damn time clock set to wake up at damn 10 o'clock. You better not come up in that motherfucker 6 o'clock talking about waking me up. It ain't happening. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be highly pissed. Well, that's what's happening with them. Their timers hadn't gone off yet. You see what I'm saying? You ain't going to come up at no 6 o'clock talking about waking me up. You understand what I'm saying? If my time, I done set my damn clock to wake up at a certain time. Well, that's what's happening, and so they rejected. That's why the brothers ran out the hotel room holding their ears. Although he wasn't hollering, I'm quite sure I probably would have killed him, Lord, as my voice. But I mean, the brother was just regular. You see what I'm saying? All things can be explained if you just let the consciousness, that's called complete understanding. You see, complete understanding, the 50 gates of understanding. So some of our people are left behind. Some of our people are left behind and all. So what's also ruling us is called Christian fascism. The Christian radical right, known as the 700 Club, white male dominating, also what you call Pat Buchanan and his whole radical right and right wing and the moral majority. That's also called Christian fascism, no different than the Gestapo. You see, and that's why you have 3 and 4 sets of Christian networks. Now, if this was this is funny. If this was supposed to be a melting pot of cultures, why is it you can't turn on the damn TV and see Islamic stuff, Hindu stuff, Yoruba stuff on networks, Rasta stuff? Why is it all Christian? As if that's the only God there is the fake shit. That's because that lets you know it is a control to keep people down. And if a white person is in it crying and jumping around and thing, if it's right for his soul, it can't be right for mine. See what I'm saying? And one guy said, and there's one thing about Christianity, it makes you feel superior over others, which it boosts the ego. Because the first thing you start thinking is they going to hell and I'm not and I'm saved. So therefore you look down on them. And like I said, I met brothers my age that's Christians and you can't even touch them. Oh, you can't touch me. You ain't saved by the Lord. You can't touch me. You know what I'm saying? We need to take them all, take all of them out in the damn field and shoot the hell out of them. Just kill them. You see. So this is the kind of stuff we talk about here. That's Christian fascism. You see what I'm saying? The Christ, when the Christ comes back, it will be rejected because it's black people. Totally. It will be rejected because it's black people and because it's more than one person. It will, you see, it will be rejected. They are saying now that the greatest curse upon mankind is this Christianity. Now, why is this based on all the other ones? Even if you was to take other types of religions, other types of religion gives you a certain way of growth because none of them professed that the Messiah came 2,000 years but is to come. Because you had this fake break of some particular historical thing, and they made something that was ever coming and something that was mythical on a high level and made it historical. They threw the monkey wrench and all the stuff. You see what I'm saying? And that's what's got the people messed up. It's almost like even some of them could even bear witness that all Christ was one if they didn't have this 2,000-year fake historical figure. Yes, there was a historical person that was a revolutionary and all that kind of thing here, but he was not the Jesus Christ that the scriptures was talking about. You see what I'm saying? Because that was talking about an end-time Messiah, which is in all of us. And because the Roman government painted him as the one, it's got everything thrown off. You see what I'm saying? It's got everything thrown off, so those people cannot. Just like some brother, some guy, some Indian-looking guy came to me. Nigga looked like some damn Native American, dark skin. Had his hair in a ponytail. He said, "Excuse me, I worship in a non-denominational church called, a non-denominational church. Would you like to come out?" And I was like, "I'm a minister." Now, see, right there, that's the fundamental disrespect of the Christian groups. Soon as I said I was a minister, he's supposed to got the hell on. You see what I'm saying? But automatically, he's still going to pitch his shit like as to say, your stuff is null and void. You got to come to my damn church. You know, I said, hold on, I just told this mother I was a minister. I just say that just to get off my thing and all. I don't even like that damn word, a fucking minister. I ain't no minister. I'm a, neo-pagan, if anything, I'm a thug in the right sense. I go against the order of things and stuff. I just say I'm a minister just to see, and automatically that didn't even faze him. Now, I could have been a Christian minister. Because I think he was thinking I was a Christian minister. I say I'm a minister like I'm a Christian minister. But I'm in the same thing. I believe in Christ, but no. See, that lets you know that it's more than just if you profess to believe in Christ. I just told this man I believe in Christ. I just lied to him and told him I believe in Jesus just to get him off my back. But still yet, that ain't good enough. No, you don't understand. Your shit ain't nothing. You got to come to my church. Now, here it is that we got a big-ass planet spinning, but yet their church in Atlanta, Georgia, some non-denominational church got the key. But this is brainwash. It's mental brainwash. Whereas all the stuff that the Christians talk about, these cults, the Christian is the biggest cult on the earth. It is the cult. Because it's got people crazy. You see what I'm saying? That's how this girl could come down and over the summer she went to one church and all of a sudden she quit her nigga, so much she married to Jesus. You see what I'm saying? I'm married to Jesus. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm married to Jesus. And you know, but the key is that's a doggone cult. And so that's the key. So it's like this Jehovah's Witness. Just come up and say the same thing. Hey, I say I'm a minister. He just went right past that. Just kept on talking. He just went right past that. No. So we talk about a mental. We talk about a brainwash. We talk about a real deal. A brainwash. Now listen. This is interesting because you need to get your Bibles. You want to write this down. If you want to learn more about the Messiah, first of all, because the Hebrew thing is something that came straight out of Egypt, it's more authentic than the Christian thing, because we know that the Roman government got the stuff that the Greeks knew about the Christos and turned it into this particular thing. So if you want to get some good stuff, some better understanding, here's a book called The Messiah Text. The Jewish Legend of 3,000 Years by Raphael Patsy. He's the person that translated it. So in actuality, these are texts that the black Hebrews put down before this white Jew came on the planet. So therefore, if you want to learn more stuff about the concepts of a Messiah, based on what the Christians are trying to front, because they get their basis from this, you need to get the Messiah text by Raphael Patsy, P-A-T-A-I. R-A-P-H-A-E-L, Raphael Patsy. P-A-T-A-I. I got one. I got this from Borders, so you see, I stole it from Borders, but I got a system down there. I don't suggest y'all do this kind of thing here. You see. But anyway, something you can read tonight. If you get the Gnostic word J-E-H-U comes from the Egyptian word Heru. It's a modification. You get because the J and the H is Jesus, and so you get the word. It would be Heru or Heru, which is the Egyptian word. So the Gnostic word would be Jehu. You take an S and put up in there, and you get the word Jeshu, which you get the word Jeshua, which is a Hebrew word for Jesus. So that means that Heru is the root word for Jeshua or Jehu. But the word Jehu, J-E-H-U, which is a modified word for Heru, you can find it right in 1 Kings chapter 19, verse 16, where it says, Elijah, we read, has commanded by God to anoint Jehu or Jehu as king over all Israel. So that's Heru over king over all Israel. So right here it's still showing you right in your Bible again that you can go in your Bible and find the same Egyptian words. And that's in 1 Kings chapter 19. 1 Kings chapter 19. You see what I'm saying? Also in this book it's going to tell you they got a whole lot of stuff on the Elijah. Now it's funny because, see, you got to realize how serious this Elijah thing is when it comes to the Jewish people. The Jewish people feel that the Jewish people say that they can't do anything. They can't even conceive of a Messiah or any type of religious promise into the future until Elijah arrives. That means that all their religion, when they're talking about these particular white people, not ours, is on standstill. They can't do anything until the Elijah comes. You see what I'm saying? So they can't even contemplate the Messiah like other people are saying they got to. They can't even do that because Elijah hadn't come. But Elijah's not coming because they're fake people. You see what I'm saying? We can do it because we done had a person called Elijah that came to purify the nation and tell you that the damn white man was the devil. Now, it's interesting because in this book, they plainly state that one of the legends of Israel that Elijah will come back as an Arab. As an Arab. But it's not going to be an Arab as far as a race Arab. It was talking about under the banner of Islam. And mind you me, this is in the ancient text. You see what I'm saying? So we can't front now. It's right in the book. You see, he's come back as a doggone Arabist right in the text. These are the ancient scripts put out by Wayne State University Press, the Messiah text. Now it's interesting because they can't move forward until the so-called their Elijah comes. They can't move forward and all. But they know that this particular one will come. Who is to come has already come. That's right. That is the reason why that is the reason why Hitler had to come about, because the Pleiadians brought Hitler on the scene, because Hitler had to persecute the European Jews to make them fulfill the book of Psalms, which was talking about us, which we had already fulfilled during slavery. But since nobody thinks anything about us, they had to create a suffering for a fake Jew. So what happened was Hitler had to come about and give them 6 years of hell, other than our damn, 400 and something, just to indicate that they were the Jews. And so even when the white boy was on TV on these Ancient Prophecies 3, and he was talking about that it fit in line so perfect with the Jews in Europe, it was thrown off, because if he's taken it fit more and more in line with us, because we are the original people. So the reason why they had to fake this, they had to come and do the World War II thing, because they had to fake the killing of a people to fulfill the scriptures in the book of Psalms. But I told you before that the book of Matthew, the book of Daniel, the book of Revelation, and the book of Psalms, as well as the book of Exodus, was in fact prophetic books. Well, the book of Exodus is a smaller excerpt from a greater book called the book of Jasher, Jasher, book of Jasher. You can now get that book from Kessinger's out-of-print book company. Anyway, the book of Jasher is the original one, which is also talking about the prophetic Egypt of now, which is America. But in this book, it clearly states that Elijah will come back in the end, and his book will be one of the book of Joshua. Well, wait a minute, hold on. If he's coming in the end times talking about an Exodus that's supposed to happen in the past, what the hell he going to come with a book that's happened in the past? If not, the Exodus that they was talking about was a prophetic book, the book of Joshua, that you got excerpt from that's put in the Bible, and the Egyptians had the same damn Exodus in their mythology. The Exodus from Amenta. You see what I'm saying? So the book of Joshua is talking about the future, which is the same Exodus, which bears witness that the Exodus is in the future, and the Exodus never happened in a historical Egypt. Because right in here, they're giving in the text that he would come back, and he would come back in the book of in the book of in the book of he gonna be having the book of Joshua. You see what I'm saying? So the Jews now really hate us because they are jealous, because they cannot pull this thing off. You see, they cannot pull this thing off and all, because they understand there's no Elijah for them, because they are fake-ass people. You see what I'm saying? They are fake behind people, and they can't pull this thing off and all. So that's what the deal is, because they knew that the Elijah came in America. So that's the reason why they had to go ahead in front and give you this civil rights movement, who was what? Was funded by the Jews, because the whole NAACP was behind that, and that's the Spingard brothers. You understand what I'm saying? And the whole thing was to try to lead us down a political path and take us out of the spiritual path, so we would not seem to be those particular lost-bound nation of Israel or Islam or the nation of Egypt. Depends on what part of the damn land you in. Same thing. You see what I'm saying? So therefore, they was behind this whole thing. So that's the reason why there was a secret relationship between blacks and Jews, because you got a fake Jew that's trying to distort and trying to lead the real person astray, because he knows that we are the doggone ones. And this has been the conspiracy with him from the beginning. From the damn beginning. You see what I'm saying? So that's what the deal is. So half of the German race was walked in by the Pleiadian race. Was walked in by the Pleiadian race. And it was interesting because the brother gave me a cassette called The Occult of Hitler. And the book was taught, and the dude was dealing with all this, and also the guy was dealing heavy with the book, the Spear of Destiny. put out by Samuel Weiser.
The spirit that Hitler was looking for?
Yeah,
Spear of destiny?
yeah, the Spear of Destiny.
He was looking for some sort of lance or something.
Yeah, right. But he was also walked in. Hitler completely was walked in by a whole alien, was the Pleiadians. And that whole thing was that they was literally trying to annihilate black people on the planet. But since AWAS was dealing with Aleister Crowley, and Aleister Crowley was still alive, he did some things, and AWAS and them also was the ones that whipped the alien aspect of that particular part, based on British, you know, and they was dealing with some stuff from Sirius, and was dealing with some stuff from Sirius. So also the reason for the Third Reich was also to make clones, for experiments, to make clones by experimenting on the Jews. So they just used the Jews as the guinea pigs to experiment on to make this cloning process. You see what I'm saying? And then the other it was also they had to use the Jews to do it because they had to fake this whole thing with to fulfill the book of Psalms. You see, to fulfill the book of Psalms, which is clearly talking about the black people over here. You see them, the black people over here. You see what I'm saying? Because see, even though the book of Exodus talks about the black people over here, the Jews over there the white Jews confront and say that was a historical book of Egypt. But what about the book of Psalms is talking about some Jews being persecuted? Then you have to actually put yourself in the damn persecution. You see, to fulfill that and fake that particular that particular part that they're talking about there. You see, so that's also what's going on. Also, you know that there's also materials also that's out about also I showed in the book of Enoch about black people as food. They have been food. They have been made food. Well, also too, what we've come to find out is the reason why in the last couple of years you haven't seen a lot of blue black people is because they take those people and they kill those people and they drink their blood. So a lot of people that's real dark skinned, they end up disappearing. And they drink their blood and all because they are some type of, this vampire thing is real with them. Because in 1994 they've had 5 massive volumes of books on vampirism. Now if vampirism wasn't real, why in the hell are you going to create 5 books plus the movie Interview with a Vampire and Bram Stoker, a book in 92 about vampirism, because they're the real vampires, and they used to eat the mummies and stuff in Egypt. But also too, some of the brothers and sisters, the reason why they are over in Africa and they do a lot of things, a lot of the blue black people, because if you notice, the African is lighter now, especially when you see them and stuff. But a lot of the blue black people have become food for them. They have become food for them, and especially here too. It's not every black person in America was mixed with white people. You still have thousands of real dark-skinned brothers. Why is it you don't see that many dark-skinned brothers now and sisters now? I mean, real dark-skinned. It's almost like you can see them and you notice them when you see them. You say, damn sure is a black nigga right there. That is because they eat them. Now, the last state that had the most blue black people was in Florida. And all right. Even right now, you see some pretty brown-skinned women in Florida. You see what I'm saying? A step up above the blue black, so they would probably look like the brother here. But you got some darker, so dark that shit don't even shine. It just be like midnight. That is because they eat them for food. They eat them for food and all too. It's very, very key. You see, it's very key. Now it's interesting because we talk about and some interesting things I want to get into is we talk about the I had a big argument with a brother down in Orlando. And what it is the reason why we are being held back is because our minds are still perceiving this prison of being great. And this skin, the original word for skin, was sin. Which means the sin that they're talking about is your skin. It ain't got nothing to do with how you behave. So how you behave. God don't give a damn about how you behave. Hell, we crazy any damn way. How the hell you gonna tell me how I'm gonna be on a pedestal? You got me on a surveillance on how I behave, and I ain't got no mind and shit. You know what I'm saying? I've been mutilated from slavery, and I'm a damn cat thinking I'm a dog. I'm a lion thinking I'm a doggone, you know what I'm saying? Thinking I'm a snail. You see, so obviously they're talking about skin that they're talking about is be released from your sin. And Jesus is going to come back, Christ is going to come back and release you from your sins. That means the Christ within you is going to release your higher self from your physical body, which is the actual skin. You see, which is the actual skin. Now, this, I think it's in this particular book. This is called The Entrance into the Tree of Life by Philip S. Berg. Dr. Philip S. Berg is the person. Entrance into the Tree of Life. And in this section, they got a section in here called the curtain. And it says, you should know that the curtain is a vessel of Malkuth, which is the kingdom talking about the earth. It is the source of all darkness. It is though that it is the force that is to be found is called the curtain. And it says it prevents the upper light from spreading throughout the fourth sphere. Now, what it means here is this particular curtain, what we're talking about, that has this particular upper light that's inside of us veiled. So the curtain is another name. Another name for the skin is the shell, in also parts of Kabbalistic writings. Now, this particular book here is called the Zohar. And this particular part here was Horus or Heru, which is also another name for the Christ also. So all of these particular disciplines come up out of Egypt. But it says this. Now, this is a book by Gershom, I guess that's Sholem. His name is Scholem. Don't ask me how to spell it. And anyway, that's his last name. And it's called the Zohar, the Book of Splendor. And it says the basic readings from the Kabbalah. So you will have a Kabbalah or a Tree of Life that is, there's two kind of systems of the Tree of Life. One system of the Tree of Life is this system of the tree that you literally look at and understand the spheres. But that's the advanced system, but then again, there's another system where you understand the actual readings. Well, I told you about A.E. Waite's book, The Holy Kabbalah, Mystical Interpretation of the Scriptures by A.E. Waite. But this one is a little smaller one that is in actuality would be one that would be a little more simplistic. And it's called the Zohar, and listen what it says. Woe to those who look upon the Torah as simply tales pertaining to things of this world, seeing thus the outer garment. But those who gaze and penetrate through the Torah, happy are they. Just as wine has to be in a jar to be kept, so the Torah must be contained in an outer garment. That garment is made up of tales and stories, but we who are bound to penetrate beyond. So what it means is you can be in religion and study the quilt and the outer garment for 1,000 years and think you got it. And yet, all you had to do was to pull the damn sheet back and here's the real deal bed. So that's the difference between esoteric religion and exoteric, and why the exoteric sounds strange. So this particular book deals with introduction. It deals with Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. And it deals with those texts as the metaphysical thing on what's behind it. And it's called the Zohar, Book of Splendor, edited by Gershom, G-E-R-S-H-O-M, Gershom, C-H-S-C-H-O-L-E-M. Well, how the hell is spell this? Anyway, this white boy was a scholar and an actual master of the Kabbalah, and he died in 1982. So this is a particular book that they're talking about here. They're talking about here. Now, the point that I came here to get into right now is the heart of a matter that I hit upon at the first of the year. But since then, I started revealing a part of it when I came the last time, and since then the scholarship on this thing has became profound. Whereas I've gotten tons and tons of more and more scholarship within the last couple of months on this, until it is unbelievable as far as everything that you know of, you need to turn around as far as the concept of God, and I'm getting ready to get into this right now. The name of this particular God that is ruling the physical, and he rules all esoteric religion or religiosity, which means any religion that keeps you from penetrating the veil that I just set up for you, whereas you hear stories of moralism, stories of being obedient, and anything that's not giving you the stuff where you learn how to go inside and raise your spiritual energy to become God. Is it not written in your law that ye are God, John chapter 10, verse 34, 36, is ruled by this particular God called Adalabra. Now, that's the Gnostic one, and this is the crux of the actual lecture, because you must try to understand this particular form of spirituality, because this has been a thorn in the side, even with me for the last couple of years. As you go more and more up into understanding, the more and more this particular God knows you and becomes your enemy. Now let me explain this to you. I talk about that in this book, and I mentioned the last time I came was called The Secret Books of the Egyptian Gnostics by Jean Duress. Now here's the teachings of Jesus Christ that they dug up in Coptic Egypt, which is how the hell Jesus don't have the same damn teaching, and these things was here 1,000 years before. And what happened is when the Greeks came into Egypt and they took all the learning from the temples and they put them in one section in Alexandria, and Alexandria was sacked, they had all this stuff spread out all over the land. And the Gnostic schools broke out. And they had this particular science. So what happened is the same ancient Egyptian religion, certain things came about in this particular science, and I'm getting ready to get into this right now. Now on page 37 of this book, it is key that you understand this particular information. And it goes like this. I'll give you a synopsis in the Gnostic text, although there's different versions. I'll give you an Egyptian version, a Gnostic version, and a Dogon version. We'll get into this right now. And it was, in the beginning, there was the goddess Sophia. She's known in Egypt as the goddess Nut. As the goddess Nut. Now, she first was supposed to have this son. In Dogon, he's called Ogu. In Egyptian, he's called Set-Typhon, the second Set-Typhon, the evil Set-Typhon. And in Gnosticism, he's called Adalabroth. He's called Adalabroth. In the book of Enoch, he's called Azazel. Now, he was being created. He got a little restless. Now, I believe that this creation went on after the original creation of the gods and all that went down. So we're going to have to jump into certain parts of history. This was a part of the cosmic history that went on. He was being created. He got restless. And he tore out the side of her womb, whereas it meant that he was not all the way created. Although he is a god over this realm, because this is the lowest realm, he was not all the way created. He said that, I want to be just like you. So he learned how to create something, but it wasn't of the original essence. I talk about this on my tape. I first got into this on my tape, my second tape I did back in '92 called Set-Typhon 1, The Mystery of Set-Typhon. So, the Mystery of Ogu and the Dogon. You can get, this mystery can be uncovered in the Pale Fox, if you can get Jermaine Dieterlin and Marcel Griot's book. Also, you will get parts of that same mystery in Robert Temple's book in the section called The Knowledge of the Dogon. In Robert Temple's book, The Sirius Mystery. But I'm getting ready to give you some other sources that you can go and get. And these books are plentiful throughout the stores that you do have here. And I've even seen some recently when we went to the store today. I saw these two books, some of the books I'm getting ready to give you. Well, you can get these. You can get these at the books that I'm getting ready to tell you in a few minutes. You can get at Borders, or you can get at Barnes and Noble. You have Barnes and Nobles here, and you might even be able to get at Tower Records and any other bookstores and all, also too. Now, let me explain these to you. He was being created. He got restless, And when he got restless, this is the Dogon one, he tore out the side of her womb. Thus, this erupted the natural order of things. Now, this later on happened on the physical, and you know this as the white man.
That's right.
So this erupted the natural order of things. And what happened is he learned how to create. He wanted to be just like her. He was very jealous of her. He wanted to be just like her. He learned how to create, but he only was able to create things on a lower realm, which is the physical realm. Now, what happened is this. He created the physical world. Now, when you go and read the knowledge of the Dogon in that particular section of the Sirius mission, they're going to tell you that the earth is Ogu's placenta. In the Gnostic scripts, now this is the secret book of the Egyptian Gnostics by Jean Duress, as well as the book I'm getting ready to lay out this is one of the better books because, well, both of these books, this book is crucial. You can't get by without getting this one because this one deals with a lot of crucial things with the Christian mythology and all. But this book here is a new book called The Gnostic Scriptures, Ancient Wisdom for the New Age, and it's by Bentley Layton. And this is the newer book that has been put out. And this particular book that will give you some of the it'll give you a deeper interpretation of the whole Adalabroth myth. His name is, how you spell his name, when you look this up, it's a hard name to pronounce, so we just made up the best way we can pronounce this damn thing. I have to slow down, and I say, well, let me see the best way that I can say this here in a lecture. You know what I'm saying? I-A-L-D-A-B-A-O-T-H. Now, it's crucial that you study this. And I'm telling you, if there's anything you need to study, you got to study the concept of this because I'm getting ready to go deep into this thing in a few minutes. But I'm just real serious about this. And you'll understand once I get deep into the myth. Okay, that name is I-A-L-D-A-B-A-O-T-H. That's either Adalabroth or Adalabroth. In Egypt, it's going to be Set Typhon, and in Dogon, it's going to be Ogu. Now, don't confuse that with Ogu or Ogun of Yoruba. Now, listen. So, he tore out his mother's womb. And this is also in the Egyptian myth that I'm getting ready to read. And so, as a result, he came down and he created the physical. So, when he created the physical, she convinced him to create man. And once he created man, what she did was she shitted him. This is his mother Sophia. She's Alma. In Dogon, it would be Nut in Egyptian, a Typhon. Anyway, she created him, and whenever he created the physical, she convinced him to create a man. She said, but the man laid flat, lifeless. So she said, why don't you blow your breath into the man and, blow your breath into it and make him alive so he can worship you? Because remember now, this particular person, he's jealous, he's inferior, and he has to have somebody to control over. And you can also look at this, and this is also physics that also applied to the doggone beast too. So, anyway, what happened is, when he blew the breath, she snuck up behind him. Now, these are mystical, metaphysical implications to explain to you on a lower level on what went down on such a high level that you understand that you wouldn't be able to say it in a lecture. But based on the scriptures, that's the way they give it to you. And she snuck up behind him and blew her breath through him, and it went into the man. Thus, when he was being created, he didn't stick around to get all of what was supposed to be left for him, being he get whole all the way created. He didn't stick around. So what happened is, when she convinced him to make the man and she blew the breath in him, the man got what he didn't stick around to get, which was the essence or the part of the essence of her, which was her. The man got that. Or the earth, which is us. We got it. You understand where I'm coming from? You get this? which made us the God of the universe. And then, which made us the God of the universe. So he was in the Garden of Eden, and so, but while we was in the Garden of Eden, we was blind, and they had an apple on the tree, which is this spear of dark. He said you could eat up all the trees, but just don't eat up the greatest tree, which is talking about they couldn't eat this particular spear. You couldn't tap into your melanin. You see what I'm saying? So, the serpent rose up the tree and convinced Eve, seduced Eve or whatever, it's metaphysical, and the serpent rose up the tree and tapped into the black dot. And they ate the black, they got into the black dot, and what happened? They could see, right? And idolaters got mad and threw them out the Garden of Eden. You understand what I'm saying? And spreaded them all over the earth. And they scattered in the diaspora. Okay, you got it? Now, what the deal is this. He said, I am a jealous God, and I shall have no God before me. But he creates what you call religions, and they cut that part off, where the part that they cut off was his mother Newt or Sophia says, a dollar broth don't lie. There is a God before you, and he dwells on earth. He's the man. You understand where I'm coming from? So, the concept on what I'm giving you, now let me read the set typing part. Let me read the set typing part. Let's see here. Let's read this particular set typing part. Well, anyway, it says when set typing was being created, I got it in my mind. He tore forth from his mother's womb, and this disrupted the harmony of things. So in the Adalabroth, it says that his mother despises him because he is so far not of her, because he's not all the way created. He's the excrement, the vomit, or the spittle. And that's what they say in the later version when the white boys created. They say what? He is like unto spittle in the book of Esdras. In the book of Esdras, which is the Apocrypha. He's a nothingness. He's a vomit, which means he's a mutant, not all the way created, because he doesn't have the primal substance of the black dot of the mother, which is the primal substance. Y'all following me here? Okay, listen. What happens here is this. He's created, and he says, I am this God, and I am a jealous God. Now, that means that the God of Christianity and the gods of, see, there's esoteric religion or esoteric knowledge, and there's exoteric. He created the exoteric, which means that basically you worship him. You understand where I'm coming from? And the esoteric means that you raise yourself up to the divine laws of the universe and become one back with the great mother or the great cosmic being. You want to call it the great creator. You understand where I'm coming from? But the key is you worship this so-called supreme being. Hell, there ain't no damn supreme being, because you're the supreme being, because you are one with the mother. Okay? There's a difference. So the God is over religion that says what? Now what does the Christian God say? My God is a jealous God. You see, in the ancient world, the devil that you call the adversary was always a jealous God. Jealous of his brother Osiris. Cut him up into 14 pieces. Remember? Jealous of him. He's jealous of him because he got the original Adam that Set Typhon never got. That's why he's never seen with a human head. He's always seen with an animal head, but he's never seen with a human head. But all the other gods are seen with human heads. Even Horus is seen with a human head when he was a baby. And the hawk just means the divine elevation, soaring high. You understand what I'm saying? Never seen with a human head. That's because he's not human. You understand? Even on the physical level, they talk about the doggone white boy. I'll go into that in a few minutes. Now, going back to this particular God, he is a jealous God. Now, I want to show you something. If you was the God that created the universe, as we mistake the God of religions, what in the hell are you going to be jealous of me for? Why is it, if you, see, the church, this is a contradiction here. First of all, the church said, I want to be like the Lord. I want to be like the Lord. But yet, they'll tell you you're jealous of one another. You go into hell because you're jealous and envious of one another. But yet you, wait a minute, I want to be like the Lord. Didn't the Lord say, I'm a jealous God in the Bible? Wait a minute, that's a contradiction. Now, hell, here's the damn, from my perspective, based on, because I don't know no better, he's supposed to be the damn man. The man that I'm supposed to aspire to be like, right? And here's the jealous mother. He said, I'm a jealous God, and I shall have no God before me. But they cut that script off because that's the, but his mother said, don't lie, there's a God before you, here's the man on earth. Now, how could this man on earth be before this particular God, and this God was created before him? Because the mother was before him, and when she blew her breath, the Adam that was in her that was before him, that he was supposed to get, you see, went through him and went into the man. So we got the original Adam, which was intended for him. The Adam captain, the original Adam. You understand what I'm saying? You got that? So he's jealous because we got the damn melanin. Although he's lower than the universe, but he's still higher than the physical dimension because he made this. So he encased us in this physical body, and he wants us to worship him. But see, my thing is this here, you got to have that's ego. Here you are supposed to be a God in all love, but yet you want me to worship you.
Thank you.
Now, wait a minute, hold on. How could, if you God and you supposed to be the man, what do you get out of me worshiping you, a lowly being like me? That means that in actuality, I must be higher than you for you to must want my worship. And that's the key to the mystery is, whenever you take any of the actual stuff that is set out here for you to become, and you turn around and start worshiping it, he gets that energy and you keep him alive. You understand? So to make sure you worship and make sure that you didn't rise up, he persuaded this so-called Yakub, which we got historical evidence. Anybody want to bear witness? We got historical evidence of the temple of Yakub in Egypt. That's the end of the scholarship. Temple of Yakub, right in Egypt. Yakub Kirk, right in Egypt, documented in Donald P. Redford's book, Israel, Canaan, and Egypt. So we give you scholarship all day long. Also, the book Atlantis and Lemuria, you can get out of health research, out of California. Atlantis and Lemuria by Rudolf Steiner. They got the whole Yakub story up in there, and it was made right long before Elijah Muhammad even came on the scene. You see what I'm saying? As well as the Temple of Seti I, and the Temple of Seti I, and the heretical prize to the British Museum. So we got all the scholarship we need for that shit. But he persuaded Yakub. In actuality, he had a group of entities that he created, which is that little renegade group that you call within the Pleiadian galaxy. And these particular entities that he created is the one that possessed bodies throughout time to do their bidding. And that particular one possessed this Yakub, and he came in and made a physical replica of this particular dollar, brought an uncreated man without melanin. You understand what I'm saying? Which is, you see what I'm saying? And made this particular white boy. So the whole thing repeated itself on the physical. And so now you got mutants among us. You understand? It was not, that's mixed in with the crowd that left, that is in exile. You see what I'm saying? As the book of, as the Kabbalah says. So the key is what we're talking about here is, what we talk about here is this particular concept. So we say this. Now look at the concept of this. First of all, we know that the physical is the lowest level. And every day you wake up and you in the damn physical, you should feel sad.
Yeah, you got that right.
And the more and more you go into your consciousness, the more and more you will understand that this ain't nothing. You see what I'm saying? Yes, you can have luxury and trinkets and different things to knock you in the head and make you feel comfortable, but you will always be searching for that. You understand what I'm saying? In some kind of way. But the key is this. You ask your question this, is God good? Well, the preacher will say, he woke you up this morning. Well, hell, if he woke me up this morning and all, he can't be my damn friend for the simple doggone fact. This is death and the other realm is life. I used to be a god, a ruler of the universe. Now I'm trapped in prison. So that's to ask the same damn question, is the warden good? You see what I'm saying? Because he gives you a painted jail cell. It don't make a damn bit of difference. It's still a painted jail cell. There's a whole universe out there. You see? He woke you up this morning. So the key is, and I want to ask you this question, and let's see who this God is a God of. How is we can have United Methodists, white people, and United Methodist black people, and they both going to the church at the same time on Sunday. Now, they worship the same damn way. Unto the Father, unto the Holy Ghost. And I said, damn, I hear the white people on. I said, damn, I remember that shit in my church. Same justice. You know, the same gestures. You know what I'm saying? The same thing and all, you know. Lord's Prayer and all this. Now, wait a minute. How can we worship down there identical and then do a better job than them crackers do? Because we get the pumping up in there and really, damn, do it like it's supposed to. And yet, they leave the church and they are blessed with everything. You understand what I'm saying? And our life is a living hell. Now, wait a minute now. Ain't no way you're going to put this shit now. Wait a minute now. If God is a just God, and it's supposed to be, because the Christian going to tell you that the only reason why you catching hell is because you don't worship God and you done fell from God and you ain't got Jesus in your life. Well, if you profess to have Jesus in your life, how in the hell did you keep on remaining catching hell year after year after year after year? And we go to church more than this mother. You see what I'm saying? And yet, he does less with the same God. They don't even believe in him. That might be a blessing. But still yet, he gets blessed. You understand what I'm saying? If not, they are not the children of that God. Because this is the original prototype of Satan. And in the heretical advice of the British Museum, they say what? They say that he is set Typhon's children, the damn European. The miserable barbarians that live in the Caucasus Mountains, whose water supply is wretched to make him lead a nomadic lifestyle. He has a reprehensible sex act. He is murderous and quarrelsome. And he has a restless nature. And this is all in the papyrus, a 5,000-year-old papyrus. And they say, but he is Set Typhon's people, typical foreigners from the Caucasus Mountains. So obviously we're talking about the same agent, and the God that we worship. That's why there's churches built to his shrine all over the black community. Because they know when we come in and we worship, the God that we worship is worshiping him. Why you say that? Well, how can we get out of that? Because the simple fact that you worshiping him. The simple fact that you worshiping any God, he automatically gets the doggone credit. So that means if you are in the Yoruba religion, it's now become a damn laughing stock, because basically what has happened with the Yoruba religion, they have taken ancient concepts of you rising to the Godhead of the Orishas, which is the real powerful spirits, and now all of a sudden they're worshiping them because they've turned it into a doggone religion. They've Christianized it. So it's one of the fastest growing religions because it originally wasn't a religion. It was a system of Ife, which is a high divine spiritual system. But now they got it as a religion, and that's why all of a sudden it costs you damn near $10,000 to become a priest. You see what I'm saying? That is because any type of spiritual system you turn around and start worshiping, you automatically get that energy goes to him for the simple fact that he wants you to not go inward and stay shut down. You see the concept of what's going on here? So that's the reason why now, the concept on the reason why some of this stuff don't work. You say, well, I've tried all that stuff you talk about, it just don't work. It's because you are not trying it you're not trying it as being keys and systems of your own body. You are still looking at an objective God, an object, other than yourself that you're praying through. You get to the great mother or the field of energy or the divine essence through going within. You understand what I'm saying? Through going within. Not necessarily giving all your energy and your praise to something outside of yourself. And that's the difference between the divine mystery system, you see what I'm saying, which is the real deal thing, to empower yourself to become that God, other than damn messing around and praying to somebody. So he got the whole world, and he got it divided up into the Islam section over here is doing this thing, which is headed by damn Arabia. You see, there ain't never nobody black. The Jewish thing is headed by the white Jewish Israel, and the Christian thing is headed by the Vatican in Rome. You understand what I'm saying? And all this stuff here is all around. You see, whereas it's talking about never the esoteric stuff is always this mundane worshiping. You see what I'm saying? And that's because he controls that particular realm. You see what I'm saying? Now, in this particular book, the Messiah thing, I think it's going to be talking about hastening the end is the chapter. Hastening the end is going to be on chapter in the Messiah text by Raphael Patti. I think it's going to be in it's in one of these chapters where they're going to talk about Elijah comes to this particular guy and tells him how to kill this particular person. And he's a black dog. He's black in the sense that he's ancient, but he's not the original thing. And he says, and I got the picture of a rock waller, other than Anubis or somebody. And he said, well, you go in and take this gold chain in your mind and wrap it around this black dog. And you and these other guys, when you take the gold chain and wrap it around there, you slay him. And they said that you slay him. And no matter how much he begs and hollers, don't you let up. But the guy, when they did it and all, he begged and hollered, and they had him, and they was going to slay him. They was following orders. But then he asked them for a drink of water. And they gave him a drink of water. And once they gave him a drink of water, he said, well, I still have power over you that I can even convince you to do this. And he ended up throwing them into all four parts of the earth. So it's mythology, but it's also talking about a certain concept in your mind on how you slay him, for the simple fact that your thoughts are things also too. You see, your thoughts are things also too. So you will get a particular part of this particular one in this particular book, the Messiah text. In this particular book. Now, the Messiah text. Now, I also mentioned to you that Moses failed to go to the other level because he stopped sleeping with the wife. And that's the difference between the East meets the West. The West is symbolized as the vagina, and the East is symbolized as the penis. And so first you had the East, and then the sun goes to the West, because the sun is represented as a seed, a solar phallic energy, and it goes to the actual West. And in actuality, it fertilizes the daughter, or the daughter has her reception. It's called the bride's reception, is what it's called, the bride's reception. So this is the concept on the reason why, the concept on the reason why it was kind of hard for Moses to go up the other thing, because he was convinced that in actuality that you supposed to start sleeping with the doggone woman. Now it's interesting because also, like I was saying about the Yoruba religion, is now the Yoruba religion is being taken over a lot, because what it is through this damn Santeria and stuff. They have been infiltrated through a lot of doggone white people and all this kind of thing here, and the top man that sets over the Yoruba religion in the United States is a damn white Jew in Chicago. So the key is now if you're going to deal with any type of our spiritual religion, they say the best thing to do is to deal with the practitioners on your own. Don't go into any type of organized religion, because whenever you organize, there's always some type of control. And at any time somebody has a certain type of control, it becomes corrupt. So if a person decides he wants to charge people thousands of dollars to do this particular thing, if you following that person, you always get the short end of the stick. That's why anything that you're supposed to be doing right now, because you're God, you're supposed to learn the principles yourself and be the practitioners of yourself, and that's the way you be blessed. But going into certain organizations is very tricky also too. You see what I'm saying? Was also tricky too. Now, also, one of the ultimate things that can combat this particular dollar broth and this particular energy that's holding the planet back is Bodun, but you know it's voodoo. Why is that? Because what's one of the most things you're scared of right now is voodoo. You think, or you say, oh man, I just don't know about that voodoo. That is because ever since Toussaint L'Ouverture and them took Haiti, which now remember now in history, since we have the resistance has always been that the white boy let up off of us and gave us some kind of compromise where he sucked the raw materials out, but he still has some type of control over the government. So all your decolonization of Africa was in actuality neo-colonialism. They just went to a new level. All your de-slavery, servitude slavery in America and South America was what? They just went to another level that was economically expedient. They didn't have to do the servitude thing. They could still control your ass with you being on the land and him not having the iron rod over you. You see what I'm saying? But the only thing in the Western Hemisphere, the only thing in the history books, which is now still controlled, that ever got from under the beast based on whipping that ass was what? Haiti. And Haiti